we really got the sense when we were at Google, like the whole Screen Australia team and YouTube team, like really cared and like really believed in us as creators. Like I think it was the first time that we really felt like, oh man, we can actually like push for this.
Getting to just actually be a full-time dancer and doing something full-time that I enjoy and like want to do was it was just like the best experience ever, and be with my crew and the people who also love what I do, and just create and meet a bunch of amazing dancers and interview them and get their insight on the street dance scene. That was just so eye-opening.
Like, even just as simple as that, like, but it's just like, I guess we just want to spread awareness of like, it's so easy to dance. Like, you don't have to be like a professional dancer.
Yeah.
And like, there's a whole community that brings joy to people.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got people involved.
Joined today by a couple of the crew from Project One. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to have you in the flats. It's been a while that I've been following the Project Beats docos, and I remember contacting you around the time you got the grant from YouTube, or with the project with YouTube and Screen Australia. Tell us, for those that don't know, what was the project, and what was it like getting that off the ground and working with YouTube?
So the project we did, it was part of a initiative called Skip Ahead. And it's, YouTube Australia and Screen Australia. It's basically to like launch the careers of YouTubers in Australia further.
Yeah.
And we've been kind of on YouTube since like 2016.
Yeah, a couple years.
We started by doing like reaction videos to different dances and stuff like that, just as kids, like messing around. And then I think Ryan was one of the directors of the series, part of Project One. His mum actually just sent him a link to this opportunity where he could apply for the grant. And we were like, we'll apply for something, thinking we're not going to get it. And then we got the call saying, you've been selected to be a part of the program.
So good.
Which was huge.
I remember when you came into the training, after you'd gotten that call, and it was just like, it was unbelievable. Considering how small our YouTube was, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
To get that opportunity was just crazy.
To give a bit of context, so 6 channels in Australia got the opportunity in 2023 when we got it. And I think something like 700 applied.
Yeah.
And then these channels like had like upwards of like 3, 4, 5 million subs. And at the time we had 19,000.
So we're pretty small.
And so, but the requirements to get the funding were you either had to have 1 million subscribers, or you had to have at least 2 videos, I think over 1 million views, which we had, which had 2 videos that randomly went viral.
Yeah.
And so we like squeezed our way in there, and apparently like this one person on the panel like really pushed for us to get into the program, and kind of like fought for us to get it. And then so we got in and got to do this amazing opportunity going around Australia, documenting the street dance scene.
Documenting what we love.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a story that's not actually told in Australia very often.
And I think that was kind of one of the things that made it stand out for Screen Australia, was that it hasn't been told before. You know, it's something that's really not touched much by media and film at all. So
yeah, I think one of our big goals as like Project One is creating like authentic street dance media, because part of our pitch was like, we went to Screen Australia and all the other YouTubers in the room, and we went, oh, when you think of like street dance, what's the first thing, like what's the first media you think of? Like, what would you think of, Nick? First like street dance video movie.
Oh, it'd be some movie like, Bring It On or something.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone's like, Bring It On or Step Up.
Yeah, Step Up, yeah.
And it's like so not accurate to what actually happens.
Yeah.
And in Australia, I feel like we don't have as much media coverage as a lot of other countries do. A lot of countries have these like production teams who really go to battles and events and that kind of thing and push the scene, but we don't really have that as much here.
Yeah.
It's kind of growing, but we just want to get it out there because there's so many amazing dancers and talent in Australia. Yeah.
And it's kind of a new phenomenon too, this like, well, maybe it's not. You can tell me if the meeting in the streets to dance is quite new, is it?
I think compared to other like dance forms, it's quite new. I would say in general, it's not like super recent, but a lot of street dance kind of started around the 1970s.
Right.
But it mostly came from the US. A lot of it originally started in New York, in the Bronx, and it eventually made its way over to Australia through like VHS tapes and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's still evolving. Like there's new styles still being created of street dance.
And like when compared to like other styles like ballet and jazz that have been around for many years, like hip hop is still quite early in its life cycle, still in its infancy.
Yeah,
So
totally.
Yeah, awesome. And we'll come back to the doco series, which if you haven't checked it out, go have a look if you're watching at home, because it's 6 parts and tackling different issues and traveling all over the country. So go check it out. It's awesome. And we'll get into that later again, but I wanted to talk a bit about how you guys formed, because it was, I believe, from quite a young age you were this group all together. And then what seems to be the difference to most is that you've also then been like, no, we're going to be doing the media side of it as well as the dance, and everyone in the team is, chipping into the producing of this this series and all the videos that you guys do.
No, I think geez, how old were we when we all sort of formed up?
It would have been like 14, 15,
14,
when we all
15,
started together.
So we were, quite young and still going through the puberty, years of puberty.
I actually did so some digging that I like to do is I like to go to the very bottom of people's Instagram.
Oh no!
He's trying to pull something really bad.
A little bit of gold from the early days, I think. Let me just open that up.
Get it up.
No, I'm scared. Classic photo.
That's pretty early. That would have been like first couple years, probably.
Yeah. Wow.
We're so little.
That's so funny. I reckon we would have been 16, 15, 16
like
there.
16, yeah.
Wow.
And the person had tagged everyone, and it seems like a lot of the team is still together.
Yeah. No, we've maintained a lot of the core members from when we first formed.
Yeah.
So that's always been sort of one of the things I think that set us apart from a lot of other groups. Is that we're friends before we're just a crew, or just like dance colleagues or whatever, I don't know what you'd call it.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of crews kind of interchange members.
Yeah.
Based on age or like skill, or all those kinds of things. But I think since we kind of got together in 2016, we've kind of stuck together. Pretty much everyone has stuck with it, and we've not really like changed up the crew very much. Project One was a thing before we were all in it.
Yeah.
It was just a crew made out of Project Beats Dance Studio. Shout out Project Beats. And we all auditioned to get into it. And it was basically like kind of like an after school activity.
Yeah.
You go, you dance, but it's almost like some people dance casually and just take class, but then crew is like you go and compete.
Yeah.
And
I remember we all sort of got an invitation from Chip, the director of Project Beats Dance Studios. He sort of all gave us all an invite to audition for crew. And I remember getting my invite and being like, oh, I feel so special. Like I feel so honored. Like this is such an exciting,
so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's such a
just
big opportunity. Kid. But like, I don't think, even if we auditioned, I don't think Chip was ever going to say no.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Although he has told me in later years he was contemplating me. So
you were close.
But no, I think we sort of formed. Yeah, did an audition. It was freestyle and some choreo, and then from there it was that was day one, I guess, and we were told next week training. Yeah. On these days, so that was our I guess, forming. We did have some members that were a part of the core group sort of join a little later, like we're talking maybe half a year later.
Yeah. That was kind of where it started.
Yeah, but that was kind of where we fully formed, I guess.
Yeah. And so we're at the studio, we're doing competitions, went overseas to compete a couple times. And then eventually, Chip, who was training us at the time, said, you know, you guys are able to kind of take your own path now.
Yeah.
By
that point we were adults.
Yeah,
so.
probably about 20.
Yeah.
And then so that's when we kind of started taking it on ourselves and taking it in this direction of more street dance media.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember that first year of sort of trying to work out what we were doing with Project One as a crew, and that was probably one of the toughest years really for us.
Yeah.
Because it was very much in the air, like, oh, are we still going to be competing in competitions? Are we still going to be, you know, trying to get those comps under our belt, or do we take it in a completely different direction?
And then COVID hit.
And then everything was shut down. So
yeah, cool.
And then, I mean that might have even just been the push that we needed to sort
I actually think so. I totally reckon if lockdown didn't happen, we would have kept doing comps.
Yeah.
Because the year before we started training ourselves, we had just gone to the US to compete in the World Hip Hop Championships for the second time. And I think we definitely would have tried to go again in 2020.
Yeah, had COVID not hit.
But then it sent us in this direction, which I'm really grateful for. Because
honestly,
now it's really
blessing
amazing
in
where
disguise,
we're at. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. So tell us a bit about those early competitions and the World Championships.
Yeah. So we did a few competitions back in the day. There's a few that kind of circulate every year throughout Australia.
Yeah, and they're still circulating yearly.
Yeah. And so generally, like, we would compete at an ACT regional. And then if you make top 3, you go to nationals. And if you make top 3 in nationals, you'd go to the US for this specific competition.
Yeah.
And we were at it for a number of years before we made it. I think one year we made it to nationals and then we came second last.
Yeah.
We came like 22 out of 23. Like, we bombed it. We absolutely bombed it.
It was a rough year that year.
Yeah. And then the year after, we managed to go all the way to the World Championships. So we really stepped it up. The year after, got to go to Phoenix, Arizona, and represent Australia against 50 other countries.
Which that in itself was like a crazy experience, like being in a resort with all these other countries with amazing dancers and just sort of living that lifestyle of an entire week where it's just straight dance, like, and everyone's training hard. Everyone's, there was a massive tent that they put up sort of in one of the car parks that was just purely a center for training.
Everyone's like fighting for a spot to train.
Yeah,
it was sweaty in there.
It was packed.
Here we go.
There you go.
This is 2019.
This is year before COVID.
So this year we came first at nationals, by like 0.2 points.
Yeah,
just.
So one Australian team goes.
Three. Top 3.
Yeah, top 3. So I think it was us, Sweet Feet, and what was the other name of the crew that year? I can't remember. Yeah. But it was Sweet Feet being some of our, I guess, cousin crew almost.
Cousin crew?
Yeah, cousin
so you're
crew.
Gonna go with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with cousin crew.
That's good.
Yeah, just some friends that we've made through our dance as well, and
from Wollongong,
and we kind of had this ongoing rivalry between us and them as to who was taking first, who was taking second.
Classic cousins.
And yeah, this is the year that we came out on top of them. But yeah, they're amazing dancers as well.
And what was the experience like meeting other people and just being on that world stage, like literally the world stage?
It's insane. It's actually a huge stage. Like, it's really hard to travel along. It's actually really big. And like we said, like, there's people there from so many different countries. Like, I think we were just jamming with people from like Germany at one point. Like, and you don't speak, but like you just dance together.
And that's the language, dance is the way that you communicate over there. So
it's like you can just tell everyone really cares about it a lot.
Yeah.
It was such a privilege to be there.
Yeah.
Such a
representing our country, and then also getting to meet some amazing dancers from all sorts of different countries as well.
How a bit off topic, but how connected is breakdancing to this stuff, and seeing that in the Olympics now, does that get you thinking about competing again, or going into that world?
I think there's definitely a lot of crews and people who do breaking who go to these competitions. But these competitions aren't only breaking, like there's a lot of different styles in them. And our crew, like we only have a couple of breakers in our crew. Like Josh and I don't do breaking, so you won't be seeing us at the Olympics anytime soon,
unfortunately.
But yeah, I think
street dance might be like a sub
category
one year.
Maybe it depends. I guess depends how breaking goes. But no, it's really exciting to see. Like we have some friends from some different states and stuff who are on like the Olympic team.
Yeah,
really.
That's really exciting.
Got to interview some people who were going through the Olympic qualifiers in the series and talk to them about that experience and
cool.
What the events are like, what the training's like, the funding for the events, that kind of thing. So I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah,
it's coming out very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And tell us what got you guys into first video, but then also the reaction stuff that, as you said, blew up. Like there's a lot of videos there where they're like millions of people watching you guys react to a music video or a movie. So what pivoted? What was the pivot into video and then into the reaction stuff?
It's kind of funny actually. It was when we were like 16 or 17, maybe 16.
We were still really young.
So one of our crew members, Ryan Telfer, he's a videographer.
Yeah.
And he was really passionate about it throughout school. And then I think it started. We had a routine, and he got his brother to film it on his camera, and that was like our first video.
Yeah.
And then
because leading up to that was when we had really sort of started filming some of our own stuff. And some of our own routines that we'd done at comps and stuff.
But nothing really serious.
Yeah,
it was just to have
nothing serious.
Like we just put it on YouTube just because Ryan just wanted to film something as well.
Yeah, like a time capsule of stuff that we've done in the previous years. So
and then one day, like we weren't even really into YouTube at that point. One day Ryan rocks up to training.
So random too.
And because he was really into K-pop at the time. Ryan rocks up to training and goes, "Guys, BTS, they're putting out a new song.
Fake Love.
Or they just put out a new song."
Yeah. It was Fake Love, right?
Yeah, Fake Love.
Fake
or
Love.
it was like the next day or something like that. And I don't think they'd put out a song in a long time.
Yeah.
And he was like, "We should film a reaction video because the song's going to be big."
Look how young we are there.
So young. I cringe at this video. Like the things I say, please keep it muted. Josh, Jason,
luckily
and I are all
I'll have
together.
to mute it because we can't get BTS
The
off,
three of us are together, Josh, Jason, and I, and we knew nothing about K-pop. We got so much hate on this video
because like the army, as they're called, they are die-hard fans, and like
we didn't know this.
Respect to them because I did not know enough about it back at this point, and it was like what we were commenting on was just irrelevant, I guess.
I was thinking like two people were going to see this.
Yeah, and then blew up and more than two people saw it.
It was like, Ryan was like, we should react to this.
2 mil.
2 mil.
2 mil, yeah. And it's still like one of our best performing videos.
Yeah.
Like it still gets views like every day, like thousands every day.
What was the BTS Army reaction on this one?
Mixed, I'd say.
Very, very mixed on this one. Like a lot of it is like people wanting to see reactions to other music videos.
Yeah.
Some of it was pretty negative because Josh, Jason, and I were just messing around.
Yeah.
Like we were just making jokes. Like not like against BTS or anything. I know.
Just not taking it seriously.
We just thought we were funny when we were 16.
Yeah. But like even then, like there was still like I think we still had some comments from fans that appreciated like a bit more of an insight from like a dancer's point of view as well.
Totally. Like I think people definitely appreciated that.
So yeah, definitely mixed reactions and comments from the people who watched that video. But yeah, it's all learning curves. So
yeah, I think what did it was like we were like one of the first, maybe the first or like second channel to upload a reaction video after they released the song.
Yeah, it was very fresh.
It just instantly because. Like Ryan obviously had more knowledge at the time, but we didn't realize like K-pop reactions were really a thing. And I think half of us were kind of even like, I don't really know if I want to do it. I don't like listen to K-pop or anything. Yeah. And he was like, we should do it.
Yeah.
And then like overnight, it literally blew up. Like
I remember checking it the morning after. I was like, whoa, it's already like 500,000 views. What the heck?
Yeah.
And then like it just kept building. I was like, damn.
So I think that was really important just because I think we've definitely pivoted from that.
Yeah.
But even some of our fans now came from that era. And even like we've heard like some people started at Project Beats like dancing because they saw our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
and so it's like,
which
something
that's surreal to think about. It's
something
like, wow.
that like we didn't have that much thought into or thought no one was going to see has like impacted people.
Yeah.
And like, because we have a couple of those like K-pop reactions that really blew up, it gave us the opportunity to connect with Screen Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess it was meant to happen.
Open doors.
Yeah, it was K-pop and your friend's mum who recommended
That's all you need. K-pop and your friend's mum.
Yeah. Yeah. So the one other reaction I wanted to talk about was that movie one, which also went pretty big.
Natsu Natsu.
Yeah.
This is
was
sick. Yeah.
This was honestly, I had never heard of this movie originally, and then I think we went and watched it.
Yeah.
Because of this reaction video, we're like we gotta watch this video, like, because it was just from this video. I was like, wow, this actually looks like a really, really cool movie.
Yeah, I think like half of us had watched it maybe a couple nights before. It was
I
think it was Ryan's birthday, and he wanted to watch it. Ryan's he knows what's up.
He knows what's up. He knows what's good. Yeah, he knows what's good.
He's got his finger on the pulse.
He does. Yeah. He really does. And so we reacted to it. I think it's not Bollywood. They said in the comments it's some other genre, but like the dancing is so impressive in this clip, and so we just reacted to it just because we enjoyed it, and it blew up.
The entire film was impressive. Like I remember we watched it. I think after the rest of us watched it as well, and I was blown away.
If you haven't watched it, like we said, it's like the most movie you'll ever see in a movie. Like it's like
the
4 movies in one movie.
Yeah, I like it was. At points where I was like, all right, this is like got to be leading to the end, and then it was like, nah,
you are.
We've just hit Act 2.
Literally.
Yeah. Looking up for this episode, this has made me want to watch this movie now.
You should.
Yeah.
I think we decided to do this reaction. This was around the time, like I think, kind of just after we got the grant from Screen Australia, and they were kind of really expressing the importance of being consistent and building our channel before the release of the series.
Yeah.
And so we were just like trying to put as many videos out as we could.
Videos out.
And so that one blew up as well, which is good.
Yeah.
So I think like some of our really big videos have kind of come from, I guess, giving a dancer's insight to like already existing fan bases.
Yeah.
Which is good. Like I really enjoy doing that and be able to give that knowledge to people.
Yeah.
I think it's allowed us to go in different directions.
Different perspective on something that they already know a lot about.
And speaking of YouTube again, you mentioned they were talking to you about that consistency idea. What was the process working with them like, and what did you learn from them? Were you doing sessions, or was it pretty much like go do what you want, or was it like we'll guide you a little bit, or what was that YouTube process like working with them?
Yeah, so once we got accepted into the program, basically we were told that we can send a few people to this workshop with YouTube and Screen Australia.
Awesome.
So myself, Ryan Telfer and Jade Schmutter, we directed the series, and so we went to a 2-day workshop at Google headquarters in Sydney.
Awesome.
So they flew us to Sydney, which was so weird flying from Canberra to Sydney, because I'm like, why don't we just drive?
Yeah. Just don't do it normally.
But no, so we went to Sydney and we did these 2-day workshops, and it was about like story building, about YouTube analytics, about how to do a film budget, all these different topics that we kind of needed.
Yeah.
We got to see like exclusive premieres of like some Australian movies that were coming out, that kind of stuff, which was really cool. And like we really got the sense when we were at Google, like the whole Screen Australia team and YouTube team, like really cared and like really believed in us as creators. Like I think it was the first time that we really felt like, oh man, we can actually like push for this and make it like a viable career, like being a creator. you know, like just being there. Like we talked to, I think it was the head of, I want to say head of marketing at YouTube ANZ. And they were saying like, yeah, like, you know, we've been watching your channel and like you guys are like, you have so much potential.
Yeah.
Like the stories you're telling are really important. You guys are super talented. Screen Australia gave us so much support, and we're even saying like, don't think of this as like your only opportunity. Like think of this as step one, and like we can keep working in the future kind of thing. Because part of the workshops at the end, we had to do a verbal pitch to a panel from Screen Australia and the rest of the creators. Like we'd already been accepted into the program, but it was like to refine our pitch and just practice pitching.
Yeah.
And it was so nerve-wracking, like to pitch our idea in front of everyone. And because originally our plan was to go to like 6 or 7 cities.
Yeah.
And bring all 9 of us everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And we did the pitch, and they're like, "Nah, no, you're not."
Dial it back.
They're like,
bro.
they're like, you don't like
At the first pitch or at this end pitch?
at this end pitch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which made me go like, "Damn, I can't believe we got accepted." But they were basically like, you know, you don't have the time and the funding for this.
Yeah.
And after doing it, we're like, "Damn, they were so right."
Yeah.
But then they were like, "Yeah, you're trying to put all your ideas into one like season, but like think of this as just the first step.
Yeah, break it
like we
up.
can keep doing more
Yeah.
afterwards." So the support's been great. And then we did ongoing, I want to say it was monthly sessions for like 6 months with a thing called Changer Studios. And they basically like look at YouTube creators' analytics and like recommend how you can like optimize your channel. And so we're working with them. And then we had an investment manager from Screen Australia. Her name's Louise, and she's been incredible. Like
Love Louise.
anytime we just email her, call her with a question, she like manages us, helps us with everything, like helped us find like, you know, people to work with, places to go, how to manage our money, like everything. She's been incredible all the way to the end. So much support from YouTube and Screen Australia.
It's good having someone in your corner.
Yeah, totally. It's definitely like a guided process.
Yeah.
Because
That's awesome.
Skip Ahead is meant to like launch people ahead and give them more skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What an awesome opportunity.
Yeah.
And yeah, great. So did you get anything like that you have carried over into what you do now? Or what
Like
you will do?
skills-wise?
Yeah, like, or
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the way you're going to do the channel moving forward, or even advice, like tips that you got that people that might also want to become YouTubers and are creating videos that you were kind of like, oh, that's a little key there.
Yeah.
Anything like that?
I think this is like quite obvious, but with any social media platform, like consistency
It's
is
key.
like number one.
Yeah, it's key.
It's like unlikely that something is just going to blow up and go viral, which funnily enough is what happened for us.
Yeah.
But I would say like after we had a couple viral hits, everything died.
Yeah.
Like we got those couple viral hits, we got 19,000 subscribers. And then for, I want to say like 6-7 years, we were on the same amount of subscribers and like getting like not many views.
Yeah, that's just because we weren't uploading like much at all.
But even when we were, it was like we weren't consistent. We hadn't found our audience, like anything like that. And we were like, oh, okay. Those big spikes, they can like lift you up a bit, but they won't carry
sustain you.
Yeah.
I think when we really saw growth was we got this opportunity, and we weren't going that hard on YouTube at the time. We got this opportunity. They were like, you guys need to be really consistent. So then we were consistent on like YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah.
And they both like grew like really rapidly.
Yeah. We had a big spike in our TikTok.
Our TikTok grew heaps just because we had Amanda
managing it all, and she was amazing.
just posting every day.
Yeah.
And some of the videos like weren't good.
No, some of
just
them are
us-
just throwaway videos, but
Some of them were just us like talking rubbish.
Yeah.
You know, like, but
That's TikTok, eh? Like, just people talking rubbish. Yeah.
literally, like we've had some videos blow up, and I'm like, I don't know what value this gives to anyone, but sure. But it's just that consistency, and it helps you like hone your craft. It helps you figure out what you like, what you don't like,
and
like
what works,
doing
what
something
doesn't
that's doing something that's sustainable is important. If like it's such an effort for you to create a video every time, where it's like a big chore, you're not going to do it consistently.
Yeah.
So if you find what you like, you find like what comes naturally to you. Not to say it shouldn't be challenging at all, but you know, as long as you can maintain it without like too much stress and strain and that kind of thing, then you know, something like the series we can't just do consistently, but we can take that style of content and, you know, when we go to a battle, we might like vlog. If one of us is entering a battle, we might like vlog that experience in a similar kind of style. So yeah, just consistency is so important. Yeah.
And Josh, what you mentioned there, that it was kind of like months of preparing for this. What was it like when you finally got out, started filming and producing this work?
Yeah, I mean, like, because I guess my perspective was more from a cast member perspective, but like still I was very heavily involved with all the pre-production and all the preparation that went into getting everything organized. But yeah, no, big shout out to Rob, Ryan, and Jade for really doing the heavy lifting with organizing a lot of the dates is when we were going away, all the storyboarding, all the prep involved with getting all the gear, because yeah, I mean there was a lot of prepping involved just to get everything to align, because you know it's hard enough just getting the grant, but then actually like putting your ideas into motion and executing it.
Totally. And we'd never done something like this before.
And yeah, and with 8 of us, it's hard enough getting 2 people to be on the same schedule, but 8 people was like, when is everyone free?
Yeah.
But yeah, like going from pre-production into production. And I remember that first week being away, just doing all filming. It was very eye-opening, because I do full-time work outside of dance, but getting to just actually be a full-time dancer and doing something full-time that I enjoy and like want to do was it was just like the best experience ever, and being able to be with my crew and the people who also love what I do, and just create and meet a bunch of amazing dancers and interview them and get their insight on the street dance scene. That was just so eye-opening, and want to do it again.
What was your favorite part of the week that you did in Sydney?
Well, I'll tell you my least favorite part was the
I can guess, I think, yeah.
Trying to get the public to dance. Nah. That day in its entirety was just a long day.
It's a long day. We were there for hours trying to get people to dance.
Yeah.
Just hours.
Because and like a lot of feedback we've had about that episode is like people loved it, but they also like hated it as well because they felt it was so cringe,
yeah.
so awkward. It was just like seeing us in that uncomfortable situation, trying to get people that don't dance to dance with us in a public situation. It was just like, ugh, But then it sort of took a step and evolved into a very wholesome, heartwarming sort of bit of film that where everyone was joining us and we were getting people
the
to
final
dance.
scene there,
yeah, and I think that part, getting people to join in, and then some of the comments we even got, there's a moment in this episode where an older bloke just said, "Oh, I love what you guys are doing. You're making people smile. Keep doing what you're doing. Like you're making the world a better place." And I was just like, "Oh,
yeah."
Like that felt
some
good.
really positive comments. Like
that felt good.
In Melbourne, like people were like, "Oh, you've just like made my day."
Yeah.
Like
little things like that was probably my favorite bits of the whole experience filming. But yeah, that day was long day. So it's my least favorite day and my most favorite.
Yeah.
day.
I think it's like really interesting, right? Like it's like so difficult for like people just to dance.
Yeah. But like the funny thing is that like when people did join us, they ended up having like a lot of fun.
Exactly. Like, yeah, when people did it, like literally made their day kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, even just as simple as that, like, but it's just like, I guess we just want to spread awareness of like, it's so easy to dance. Like you don't have to be like a professional dancer.
Yeah.
And like, there's a whole community that brings joy to people.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got people involved. I'm really glad because I was so nervous. And we literally, I think we had like contingencies of like, okay, if this doesn't pan out, like, what are we going to do?
What's our plan?
Like, how are we going to change this episode? We literally had like backup plans.
Yeah.
But it worked out, luckily enough.
Like finding that narrative of like, in the end, it all worked out would have been a struggle. So you'd have to change the whole narrative of that episode almost.
Totally. Actually, one thing we didn't even include in
yeah,
Sydney.
we held a community class after that.
After the boys were going around getting people to dance, we were handing out flyers saying like, okay, at this time, at the convention center, we're going to do a free dance class.
Yeah.
We got some flyers handed out, but then no one who took a flyer actually came back. But we just started running a class, and like we were the students, and then people like joined in.
Past, yeah.
Like I think we were like 20 people in at one point. Like doing this.
It did sort of pop off at one moment, and then had a bunch of people joining in, and because like some people like filtered in, and then were like, all right, I'm done, and then headed off. But then we had like a couple people who were like consistently took the entire class, and like they finished, and they were like, oh my gosh, like where do you guys normally dance? Like I want to take more classes, and we were like, oh, we're actually from Canberra, so but you can go to these classes.
Yeah, so I don't think it made sense with the story, like in the edit, but that was like another thing
cool part. Yeah.
Bonus ep one day, maybe.
Yeah, honestly, we have so much footage. Like I think we shot like about 70 hours worth of footage, and the series in total is like maybe just over an hour.
Yeah, Ryan like released a statement afterwards, and he was like, I could release like 6 feature-length films with the amount of footage that we've got.
Yeah,
but, like,
it was
we just
huge.
had to cut it down.
But I think we should definitely use a lot of the footage.
100%. There's some good stuff there.
So much knowledge for people like in the scene, but I think a lot of it is targeted for people not in the community to understand it, because I think street dance can be quite misrepresented in media.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to create opportunities for street dance artists, and especially with breaking being in the Olympics and how it's going to get a lot of notoriety in that way, that we start pushing things out that tell like the real story of like Australian street dance. Yeah.
And you mentioned the people that you got to talk to. What were some of the people that were kind of like the dream interview, I guess, like for someone, and like finding and learning from these people that maybe you looked up to and were kind of leaders in the scene or whatever? Like, what was that like interviewing these people?
We got to speak to so many amazing dancers and so many influential dancers in the street dance scene. But I think definitely one of the ones that stood out for me was our interview with Pop and Jack. Popper, based in Sydney. He's a full-time dancer, and he's been doing his thing in the scene for many years, and I could tell just from like speaking to him and the questions we were asking that he knew what he was talking about, and like just from his experience in the scene for so many years, and there's so much knowledge and history just from that one person.
Like his crew just had their 20th year anniversary,
which to us is crazy. But how many years are we at now?
Nearly at 10.
You're
getting there.
Yeah, but like just sort of seeing someone who had so much knowledge and like so much experience in one scene, being the Sydney scene, was I think that's what was, in my opinion, the standout. Yeah, was anyone that you thought was a standout for you? Because I didn't go to Melbourne. You got to go to Melbourne as well.
Yeah, I think because I went to both Sydney and Melbourne acting as like director.
Yeah.
Oh man, there were so many.
It's hard to choose, eh?
Because everyone touched on something different.
Yeah.
Because as like you were saying, like we kind of have a different topic for each episode.
Yeah.
So we'd kind of talk to one person and talk about being a full-time artist, but then about growing the scene.
Yeah.
But then about what it means to be in a crew. Like, I do think, Jack's crew, like Stale Biscuits, was a sick interview as well, because they have so much deep history and members have kind of come through. And then Floatality was sick as well. Floatality breaking crew in Sydney.
Got to battle them as well.
To battle them. Did you get smoked or?
We did. We did. I remember there's that clip that was the sort of the teaser for that episode, and it was us talking trash. And it was like we had no grounds to talk trash on Floatality. Like, they're amazing.
No, it's so good. I remember like that was an interesting shooting day because we shot at Sydney Opera House, and we get there and it's just like bucketing down the rain, like absolutely bucketing down. We're meant to be like battling each other, dancing just like outside.
And the floors, like, whatever material was like sort of gravelly stone that was just slippery, and it was
like puddles
of water.
It was like that one street dance, that one step up.
It was that one step up scene, yeah.
Where they
it was
dance
that
in
one
the
step
water.
up scene, yeah. When Moose from Step Up smashes the water, flicks it up in the air,
and they do the flares.
Yeah. Well, Floatality did the flares, not us.
Yes. But so we did that, and it was like raining. We're like trying to see if we can do it. We just decided we're just going to do it, try and protect the cameras as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this security comes out of the opera house.
Walks up to Jade.
And Jade's like, you know,
she's like 5'5".
Like,
she's pretty small.
And then like security just comes up to her and is talking to her, and then all of a sudden, like, they just take her into the opera house.
She just disappears.
And we're like filming, and we're like, oh my God, what happened to Jade? We're in the middle of like filming, and she comes out, and apparently they came up to her and they're like, oh, you can't be filming at the opera house. And she was like, oh, why not? And they're like, we only select certain artists to film here, kind of thing.
Yeah, like you need specific permission, like
like
Mr. Beast, yeah, for real.
And then Jade was like, well, how do we become one of those artists? Like, is there a form or something I can? And then like they just like took her in, were asking her questions, like that kind of thing. We ended up having to cut all the footage that like displayed a large portion of the opera house, so we can display small bits. But then we refilmed the whole battle at a different location the same day. Floatality, they were so good about it. 100%. Big ups to them, because that was a long
pretty
day
much doubled their shoot time.
But they were so good about it, and yeah, just really had to change up the edit.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy. I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
with the,
neither did we.
Yeah.
Neither. And like
that's bullshit.
We asked Screen Australia, and they're like, we've never heard of that.
Yeah,
like,
that's like government money that built that. We should be able to film.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I don't know, we're just some random people. Like, you know, we're doing it through the government as well.
Yeah, it was a government grant.
But they weren't having it. So yeah,
interesting, awesome. And another cool episode aspect to the series was the one where you kind of explored the economics of being a dancer and like having it as a career. You mentioned like how good it was to do this grant and have that experience of being a full-time dancer at that time. What have you taken away from that episode, and how you're looking at going forward?
Very, very heavy question.
deep questions.
Yeah. I mean, like the overall thoughts from like just sort of speaking to lots of full-time artists in general was, you know, it is possible. It is possible to be a full-time dancer or a full-time artist, but it's very difficult. Like, it's a lot of work. Yeah, like not just you know, turning up and dancing at an event or anything. It's networking. It's booking in gigs. It's, you know, just being in the right place at the right time to meet the right people to secure your next paycheck for the week, because you know, it's a very uncertain field for earning money and as a career. But I think that's why we were very lucky to get this, to have this opportunity and get this grant and sort of experience what it would be like being full-time artists and full-time dancers, even for such a short amount of time. But yeah, still sort of gave us a taste of what that's like.
I think like one of the big takeaways is like, even if you are a full-time dancer, only like 30-40% of that is actually dancing.
Yeah,
you know, like
so much other stuff involved.
And even then, like a lot of the people who are full-time artists or full-time dancers, like a lot of it is like teaching classes.
Yeah.
It's not like being a dancer.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to be very resourceful to like make a career out of it. And there's not a lot of support at all for the dance community. It is growing for sure.
Yeah.
But I think
I think sort of the only established career within dance is very commercial driven, and it involves like, you know, performing as backup dancers for bigger artists who are touring or doing shows in a specific area,
TV commercials,
or even being part of a bigger a production, like a a musical.
Yeah, I think that's all viable as a street dancer as well. But I think it's very rare that it comes up in like a lot of street dancers.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of why we wanted to make the series, is because it's like we want to spread awareness that there's talent and there's value here.
Yeah.
One of the things we actually used in our pitch to Screen Australia was, you know, my dad doesn't play tennis, but he would watch the Australian Open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, a lot of sport, there's like so much infrastructure, funding, and like sales behind it, and it like earns so much money.
Yeah.
But street dance battles, you can buy audience tickets.
Yeah.
It's like available for anyone to come watch, you know? And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like sick to come watch, but like people don't know, or people go like, well, I'm not a dancer, so I'm not going to go to that. But literally, like, you know, there's big events that happen where you can just get an audience ticket and go see people compete against each other.
Yeah.
Just like you would with tennis or
and these
basketball.
people competing are insanely talented too. Like
Totally.
it's not something that you watch and you just go, oh, it's okay. Like it's like amazing dancers.
Yeah. And so I guess we're like, if people know they can support as someone who isn't a dancer, you know, they can support an artist. They can go see a show, go see a battle or a competition. And even then, it's like if we can push out media which educates people on how a street dance battle works, for example, like they don't have to battle, but it's like you learn the rules of soccer by watching it, and then you get invested because you understand the rules, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you understood how a street dance battle worked, then you would have your own opinions and feelings about it, and you could be more invested.
Yeah.
And that could potentially drive a lot of opportunity to the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that sport does really well, or most big sport, is it's telling the story behind the sport.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you guys are doing. Like, it's all good and well to see a dancer go off, but to have that story behind it is what people really connect with in the end.
Totally.
And sport does that. So
Definitely.
it's cool to see you guys doing that.
Yeah. You see it with a lot of sports. Like if someone follows a team, they'll be like, oh yeah, we won on the weekend. It's like they're a part of it.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And I think even with the series, because it does feel very like we're like characters in the series, but the idea was like, okay, if we can make this entertaining just from a story perspective, pitch ourselves as characters and get people to care about us just as people and as characters, then they can care about what we care about, rather than just going like, this is street dance, here's all this knowledge.
It's
like they're not going to care.
They're not going to. They're not going to receive the message well.
If they care about us, then maybe they can care about what we care about.
Yeah.
That was kind of the approach. Yeah.
And follow along for the journey.
Exactly.
Going forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
And another thing where they're kind of bringing that sport mentality to it is the Red Bull stuff that you've been a part of recently. Tell us a bit about the Dance Your Style.
Yeah.
Event.
The Red Bull Dance Your Style was an amazing experience, honestly. Being part of the first Canberra qualifiers, or Canberra auditions, I should say. Because prior to this, it hadn't happened in Canberra. Yeah, that's a good photo. Yeah, shout out to Jax as well, Papa Jax. He also went up and repped with me in Sydney. But yeah, the first Canberra auditions that Red Bull Dance Your Style ever held. Again, some amazing dancers there. The people who showed up really gave it their all, and repped themselves and repped their crews, and repped Canberra in general. But yeah, getting to be a part of, I guess, an event that's more funded was exciting, because going to other street dance events that don't receive as much funding, you know, we're already appreciative of what we get from those, but then going up to Sydney and being a part of the top 16 for the Sydney qualifiers, and you know, being treated quite well. I remember walking into the green room at the back. I saw Kez, and he was like, "Yeah, come drop your stuff." And I walked in, and there's you know, they've got waters in the fridge, Red Bulls in the fridge.
Of course, they got Red Bulls.
snacks all on the table, and you know, some goodie packs where they, you know, gave us hoodies, and
I was gonna say, did you get a jumper?
Yeah, got a hoodie and a sweat towel.
Did you get your Red Bull moment, like cracking the Red Bull?
There,
on camera?
I think there was a moment where they caught me sipping a Red Bull because one of the
Turn the logo to the front.
Yeah, like it was exciting being a part of an event that had a bit more funding behind it and a bit more support from a bigger company, and just in general, like it was just a fun event, very high quality production.
Yeah, the production on Dance Your Style is crazy.
Like even compared to last year, because one of our other crew members, Amanda Vanderclay, she also did Red Bull Dance Your Style in Sydney qualifiers, and she was invited up to participate in that, and she did an amazing job as well. But yeah, seeing I guess the how well it had done previous, and how much bigger it was this year was leaps and bounds even then. So yeah, being a part of that whole experience was exciting, and I really hope that me and Jax repped Canberra well enough that they'll bring it back again next year, because it is an annual event. But yeah, I'm keen to go back and try it again and go harder.
Yeah,
so good. And at the end of the final ep of season 1, you guys came back together and we're talking. What are we gonna see next? Do we know yet? Is there gonna be season 2? Is there gonna be the Europe edition?
When Amanda said that, like we look back on it, Amanda was like, "Why did I say that? Why did I say Uncovering Street Dance Europe?" Like that's like multiple countries.
Do it now.
That is,
you gotta do it now.
Yeah, that is ambitious.
Not quite sure about Uncovering Street Dance Europe, but I think we've kind of been just focusing a bit more personally and individually the last little bit. Like a lot of us have kind of moved to different places, but we're really starting to ramp back up into things. So we have a couple of projects coming up. We recently filmed another dance film in Melbourne, which should be out on our YouTube pretty soon.
Yep.
And then we'll be working hopefully with a couple of brands soon, which I can't really say much about because it's kind
Secret
of up in the air still. But hopefully some cool content coming with some cool brands pretty soon. I think in terms of another Uncovering Street Dance, I think we'd definitely like to.
We would love to.
If we can get like the infrastructure behind it.
Yeah.
I think it's we're not quite there yet, but definitely more content of that vibe. Like a few of us will actually be going to Europe for some battles next month. And so we're hopefully planning to like vlog there and do similar to
show the experience.
like episode 3 of the series where we followed the battles. We followed Amanda at Red Bull, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because we're going to a battle called Summer Dance Festival in Amsterdam.
Massive.
Probably like the biggest battle in the world.
Massive.
Awesome.
And so we might vlog that, our experience there and that kind of thing. So that's kind of coming up at the moment. And hopefully some more, I guess, like deeper projects not long after that.
Yeah.
Some more reactions? Are we going to do those anymore?
I think so. I think maybe not as much and maybe more kind of focused on like street dance.
Yeah.
We've done a couple reactions to like Red Bull Dance Your Style battles, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
which have been sick. So I think kind of refocusing a bit instead of like just reacting and pulling from those different audiences, we might try and like shift a little bit into like our own niche.
Our style.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some commentary.
Yeah.
Commentary roles with the Red Bull.
Yeah. I think it could be good.
It could be good.
It could be really good.
Could be good.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. And the music too, Rob. What are you working on? What are you looking to do with that?
Yeah. So recently released a double single called I Don't Mind. And part 2 is in collaboration with M Capo.
Yeah.
Who you just had him on.
Yeah,
right?
we just had him. He's in the chat too.
Oh,
Shout out Capo.
My man. Yeah, did a collab on that, which is our second collab. And yeah, really happy with how that went. Kind of just after moving to Melbourne. And I'm currently working on another single called Fingerprints. Almost done with production on that one. So I really want to go a lot harder on like releasing my own music. I think most of my stuff was just kind of doing gigs around Canberra and that kind of thing. But I really want to go harder kind of in the online space, releasing my music, going hard on the content and the marketing. So I'm really gearing up for that at the moment. When I get around to releasing Fingerprints. But yeah, if you haven't checked out I Don't Mind, go check it out. It's still pretty recent.
Run it up.
Double single.
Run it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about you, Josh? What's in the works? Maybe outside of dance.
Maybe also music.
Maybe also music. I'm announcing I'm also starting rapping. No.
Can you spit some freestyles for us today? Yeah.
No, I'll leave that for Capo. No, I mean, I've just recently taken on a dance crew at Project Beats Dance Studios.
Awesome.
So I guess I'm kind of going through my stage of trying to give back a little bit to the people that are coming after me. Sort of sharing my experiences being a part of Project One and hoping that I can give them that same, well, not the same experience because every crew's individual, but you know, an experience that's as beneficial as Project One was for me. So, yeah, trying to, I guess, navigate, you know, taking a crew and teaching this crew with my girlfriend Abigail. But yeah, I'd really like to sort of give them the same, if not a better experience of what I've had with Project One.
Yeah, it's like just seeing how much like just going to Project One and like auditioning, and then it's like now we've ended up here.
Yeah,
never would have expected it.
Lifelong
like,
friends. Like,
yeah, you don't know what you can do for someone else, like being a part of a crew.
Yeah.
It's you literally like grow up together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we did.
We literally did. We literally grew up together.
Yeah.
You saw those pictures. Yeah.
15 back then, 22, 23 now.
24.
24.
24.
Bro,
Yeah.
you're old.
Pushing it.
Old. I'm 23 at the end of the year.
Oh.
That's scary, bro. I'm not going to exist.
Such a niche reference.
Such a niche reference.
We have this joke that like when you're 20, like no
Year
one knows
23
anyone who's
doesn't
23.
exist, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
when I turned
doesn't
23,
exist.
everyone like ignored me for like a week.
Well, we won't be ignoring you here, so we'll keep following on.
Appreciate it.
But thank you so much for coming in for a chat.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Awesome
Yeah.
It's been nice.
to hear some of the stories behind these projects. That if you haven't, go check it out on
please do.
Project One YouTube, and yeah, on all their socials as well. But yeah, no, thank you so much, guys, and we'll be following closely for season 2.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. Catch you.